Okay. Okay, we are live. So let me get situated now on these apps. I tell you, my stress level is like next, like the worst ever.
Oh, it's been a day. Let me tell you, it's been a day. I still have 400 something emails to go through.
I don't have that problem right now, and that's the first. Just okay. Ooh. How do I look on here? I look fine.
Yeah, you look good.
I keep trying to think of who the Lowry kid. So what he looked like, and I can't remember. And what
He
happened?
was older than us. Like a good bit older than us. He was a really short guy. He was dark headed, really, really skinny. Um, he got sick and he ended up with spinal coccal meningitis, and it made him have a heart attack.
How do you get that?
They said from the dirt because he was like big on planning stuff all the time. They said he could have got it from the dirt.
Did he not bathe, or did it?
I don't know. I really didn't because we didn't talk to them. I mean, they usually would come by regularly, and we didn't see him for a week, and we were like, "What's going on?" And then it was that like he was in the hospital and everything.
And it's kind of fast.
It was pretty fast. It took about a week, I want to say, but he was not. He didn't live very healthy. Like not that I live healthy, like I have no room to talk, but would I say very unhealthy? He was very unhealthy.
Okay.
I'll find a
I don't
picture of him.
remember. See, I'm trying to picture him in my head, and I just can't do it.
I have pictures of him and Brad together.
Brad. Brad is the hairdresser.
Yes, but Brad's from Nacogdoches, so
I see. I know some Nacogdoches people, but we're getting old.
heard
Like it's hard to remember people. I don't know.
Brad's drag name is Stack of Cash.
I would remember that. Okay, I want this one. Okay. Um. Oh, I finally got it. I don't know how to make it do it automatically, but I finally got it to where I have like 4 pictures in one. Okay. Score.
Sweet.
Okay. So yeah, Gemini's got so much going on. How was the rest of your drive home yesterday?
It was fun. It was fun. I was glad to be all through all that traffic and everything and done.
That's good.
Once I got home, I kind of crashed too. If that makes like I took a shower, laid in bed, looked at the Facebook stuff, and then I was out like a light.
That's good. Okay.
How about your evening? How did your evening go?
It was depressing. They're all depressing lately. But that sounds horrible. I don't mean it to sound horrible. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I can't do two things at once. I don't know if you've noticed that.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm really bad at it, like really bad at it. Okay, I think I have everything up now. I've got the three. Oh, I just need YouTube. So put that over here.
I keep on looking at my face and I'm like, oh, my Botox is gone. I got to get some more.
Oh, I want to go with you to get Botox. Do you get a discount when you go together?
Yes, my husband was involved in all that, so she gives me discounts and she is good.
Who is she?
Holly Thompson. No, not Thompson. Todd. Holly Todd. Dr. Todd. You remember the urologist, Dr. Todd?
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
no
oh
reason.
yeah, because his wife was a counselor for me.
Well, Holly was not a counselor. I'll tell you that. He must have been divorced a couple of times, but they got a divorce and she went back into skincare and stuff.
Miss
And
Todd? Because they had a kid that committed suicide, right?
no. That may have been somebody else because Holly's kids are still alive. I'll send you a picture of her. I'll text you a picture of her when we get out because she's on my Facebook,
Oh,
and she
okay.
is great. Like, love her. I'm trying to think what her new name is. I don't know if she went back to her maiden name.
Okay. So tell me, I guess we can just go ahead and get started if you want. So one, tell me what life is like there. I mean, besides, I know what we talked about on the show, but we didn't kind of talk about your current life except for you have these friends. I mean, what is it like dating there? What is it like?
Oh, dating's obsolete. Like it's really obsolete. I can't believe that I met Rob here. I have dated twice here locally. I lived in Nacogdoches for 7 years because I was in a long distance relationship with somebody there, and then I met Rob, which Rob was not from here.
That's what I remember. I thought that was the same person. Rob's not the Nacogdoches person.
No, Rob's not the Nacogdoches person. I was with this guy that had been here for 7 years prior. That's how I met Brad, my hairdresser. And then we split up, and then I met Rob, and I was with Rob for 7 years, married for 2 because we were going to be married longer, but COVID hit. So when COVID hit, we're like, oh no, we can't do that because my wedding pictures, like I have some good wedding pictures. Rob Smith, because Rob had all these connections, like with makeup artists. Well, he was a makeup artist, but like by him doing that and hair, he had all these connections. So my friend Sammy that you met, the one that I did our interview with, she did our wedding. She planned our whole wedding, and it was gorgeous. It was at the Expo Center here in Lufkin.
Okay, so you had a bunch of, it was a big thing.
It was like Rob's family flew in from Michigan and everything. Like it was pretty big.
Up kind of where I'm at. Have you ever been up here and like visited them?
Oh yeah. And I'm actually flying up there first part of May because I have to take Rob's ashes home.
So okay, well then I'm on the other side of that little pond they have, or that lake.
Where are you at? Because they're on Port Huron. Port Huron, am I saying that right?
I'm in Wisconsin, so unless they're in the Upper Peninsula, they're on the other side.
So they're close to Canada. Like you can throw a rock to Canada and hit it, like literally.
I know. I might be going there if Trump wins again.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So you should come visit me when you're here.
Maybe when I get up there, I can figure out. Maybe I can jump a flight because my uncle's husband is a flight attendant, so I'm on the buddy pass.
For what? For who?
American.
Okay, well it'll get canceled probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been through that several times, but I could maybe make some good arrangements and get a discount. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. No one ever comes to see me up here, and I love it up here. Like,
I don't blame you. I thought about moving up that way. Like, Rob was trying to convince me, and I was like, I do like it.
It's just different, and like even like the conservatives here are different. Like they're conservative for like the right reasons. Now there's going to be crazy people on both sides, but it's almost like Texas was back in the day, because back in the day, like all my friends were conservatives. Like it was different. Now it's just so polarized.
I got you. I understand. That would be fun.
Yeah. And the people here are just chill. I don't know. It's just the cold weather makes you different, and they're tough, and they're nice people. Okay. Do you have your drink? Are you having a drink?
Yes, of course.
What are you having? What are you having?
I do vodka tonics.
Okay. I just do vodka.
Okay. I can appreciate that. I've been there, but then sometimes I was like, oh, like, you know how you like goes down your spine or whatever. And I was like, oh, that tastes like gasoline for a minute.
Well, you got it. That's the bad vodka. You got to get the good vodka. And I have to have Diet Dr. Pepper around. So you've dated twice there.
Yes.
And what kind of people like, okay,
let me
tell me, what kind of people do you date?
They're mostly, well, honestly, I wish I could say I had a style. I don't. Rob kind of broke the mold when I met him, because he was more like stocky and everything.
Huh?
Before Rob, I dated a guy in Bel Air, Houston, in the Bel Air area in Houston, and he was more steampunky, I guess you could say. Like he had the beard and the fancy combed over hair. I don't think it's steampunk. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. It's something Billy, right? And it's something Billy, like rockabilly or whatever. Like he was tattooed all up, and the earring, but he had the fancy hair, but he had the long beard.
That's just called sexy.
Yeah, it was. It was. He was sexy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then before him, Ted was very petite man, like a very petite man, like a short. He was short. He was bald headed, very skinny. Didn't put on weight or anything. And that's it's kind of a mix of it. Now, Rob was the most attractive one I've dated. I mean, Travis was attractive that I did date in Houston.
Oh, Travis isn't watching.
I know, right? But he was in Houston, and he knew he was attractive. Like he knew it. And Rob knew he was attractive too. But Rob was more. He had a full sleeve on one side,
Yeah.
and he wore a beard, and kind of like I do. Like he didn't wear a long beard, and he was just stocky, and everybody
Well,
thought he was good looking.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but for a group of people, and there's a lot of people that make up the LGBTQIA plus. My God, it's the longest damn acronym, and it keeps growing, right?
Right?
And well, okay, there's so many issues here. Why is everything different except for straight cisgendered people? Why is everything else in the same category after that? So that bothers me. But what bothers me a lot about gay experience is that we ask for equality, and we ask you not to judge us for who we are, right? But
Right.
then we go and we are the most like our dating apps literally classify people into different categories because we won't talk to you if you don't fit a certain mold. And so what I appreciated what you just said was that he didn't fit this mold, but you gave him a chance, you fell in love with him. And I feel like that is a bad thing in the gay world, is that we literally are the most judgmental people in the world. And
Yeah, we are.
it's so hypocritical.
We are, and it's like we took it on way back in the day because women used to ask us like, "Does this look good? Does this look good?" So we kind of may have got molded into that and didn't realize it. But I do think like I've always struggled with body identity. Like I've been close to 300 pounds. I've been 150 pounds, which was not healthy for me because I'm 6 foot tall. 150 pounds, I looked anorexic, and people were asking me, "Do you have problems? Like, is something wrong?" Stuff like that. But it's because I struggled with it, and I never found a happy medium. I was almost like Oprah Winfrey.
Without the money.
I know, right? Like, if I had the money, I would care. But my body has went like that, and I went down to 150 pounds because I thought that's what it would take to get who I wanted to be with. Because we do judge, especially, I don't know what it's like bigger cities because I've only dated a little bit in bigger cities, but especially in these small towns, if you don't have like on your dating apps or whatever, if you don't have like muscular stuff like this or something, people won't talk to you.
But they're not even real pictures most of the time, or they're
I know
old.
it's fake. It's fake.
Yeah,
It's
super
it's
old.
well, and here it's a lot of closeted married men just hustling.
So that is the best way to describe it up here. And that is that there are so many straight people like on those apps because they're bi now. Like there are more
Yeah,
people that say they're bi now than ever before.
I
And
know it's changed. The world has
yeah, and
changed.
here though, it's just much more accepted. Like they still don't want to know you if you're a trans person out in public, but they're just cool with it. I just think that as a community, like it's okay to like what you like sexually or anything. It's okay to do all those things. I do that. Like I can say this is what I like. This is what I'm looking for today and that. But as far as like dating people, we literally like put people in categories and do not even talk to them for
Agreed.
anything.
Agreed.
And I think that who are we to sit here and tell straight people that are conservative, like, hey, you don't get to judge us just because we're different. We literally judge all of everybody.
Our whole community. We judge our whole community.
Yeah.
Even in our own group, like as a gay man in our own group, we judge that community ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I can't tell you like the second I came out as trans, the next morning I woke up and all of this like sank in, and it was like, oh my God, all these things are different. And what I didn't expect to be different was the gay experience, because up until then, you can be an effeminate male and it's kind of accepted. right? And like it literally changed overnight. And it was just so weird. And it was weird too to me, like a lot of the gay people, like we're just not even part of that community. It's
I
but when
understand.
you think about it, if you are like a heterosexual in your mind and because you have gender dysphoria, I mean, what do you have in common? Like, why is everybody lumped together in that one acronym?
I agree. I agree. Was it hard coming out as trans? Like, did like
Yes,
is
it's the hardest thing ever, and it's still happening.
it's harder than coming out as gay?
I never had a problem with the gay, and so like because I told you, you and I had such different experiences.
Yeah.
I think thinking back, I had problems. Like if I think about it, and I'd shut them away, but for the most part, it just happened at a right time, and I just didn't care. And here, the trans thing happened at a right time, and the fact that I was supported, but then I've lost support as that goes. Like you were talking the other day about losing your family.
Yeah.
Like I've lost parts of my family now that even at the beginning of coming out trans, like it just keeps progressing. The prouder I get as a trans person, and the more that people see it's not going to go away, and they see the transformation happening, and the hormone replacements are doing their job, and I'm looking more natural, and I have my own, like it's not going to go back. It's not
Right.
ever.
Right.
And so during that, I think as people have realized, I have lost people.
I get that. I get that. Where I could see how that would take place, where people think it's cool at first. It's like, okay, it's almost like I've had so many girlfriends want to be friends with me just because I was gay, and then I finally kicked into it, like, and then I would leave them, but then I had friends that I lost because I was gay, even though they were females. Like, there was a point where it got popular to be gay and have, like, it got popular for a female to have a gay guy as a
Oh
best friend.
yeah, I think that's always going to be popular.
It's really popular. Like, I'll tell you, some of my best friends are girls. Like, all of them, all of my best friends are girls.
It's only popular until
Do you read
like
them?
well until they realize that there are so many DL guys and it could be one of their boyfriends, and like because they think you're not a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I can't tell you because I'm usually into more like Matt. Like I can't tell you how many people try to go on dates with me that have girlfriends, and I'm like, I'm not. You know, you're not coming to my house. We're not chilling. You're like, got a girlfriend. We're good.
So is your type masculine?
Is my what?
What's your type?
So I like I would always say masculine because that's what I've always been with, whether there was gay masculine and now it's usually straight people. But I will tell you that I've learned in the last couple of years, and it's slowly been getting here, that it's not about that, it's about confidence. And as somebody professionally who can like when I go, like I'm usually like I'm usually kind of like the boss, but and so I like somebody who can keep up with that,
Yeah.
right? But then not let me boss them around because I don't want that at home. And
I
so
get
like you've got to be able to have that good balance. And so really it's confidence and confidence.
confidence. I think confidence is non-time, like it's at least 80% of the battle. For
What do
sure.
we do with the people who are not confident then?
I don't know. But you know, like, you have to be confident to come out and do this stuff. So
Yeah. I need somebody that can go toe to toe with me is what I need. I need
that's what
somebody
you need.
that when I'm fighting them, like they can call me out on my bullshit and not just let me run over them or not let me make every decision. And that's hard to say that, like especially admit that, but I do need somebody who can check me from time to time, and I need to be able to check them.
Oh yeah, I had to tell Rob. I was like, Rob, do not let me walk all over you. Like, you call me out. Like, it's the same thing. I was like, do not, because I mean, it took a lot of stuff as a kid and I didn't have confidence and everything. But as I grew and I started being like independent and doing stuff like that, I was like, no, it ain't going down like this. So, like, especially in my home life, inside my home walls, like, if I didn't like it, I said it.
Well, and I think you had so you if people like we're on so many like things right now and I can't tell, but if people were to listen to the podcast and hear about your story, you had no control of anything outside of your house. And So of course, like you're going to want that control when you can get it. Do you
Yeah.
have control of your life outside of your house now?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I made it as far as I did in the industry I'm in. Um, because I just didn't put up with stuff and I started calling people out. Like I manage straight men, and that's hard sometimes.
So have
It's,
I.
but it's hard because sometimes they don't back down, and you have to just go toe to toe with them.
Okay, let me help you with that one. Yeah, you just need to walk in every room like you own it.
Oh, I do. I do. Believe me, I walked into my office so many times, and over the years, like I started managing grown men probably 11 years ago, and these are maintenance guys.
Oh,
Like think about maintenance. Like like these
yeah.
are some of them are really redneck. That's all they know how to do. I love them to death. Like, and we end up falling in love sometimes. Like not falling in love like physically, but like like
Yeah,
being cool with each other. But there's a certain breaking point I had to do to like let them know like if I'm gonna be when I gotta tell you what to do, you have to be able to accept it.
they just need to see that you're going to have their back when it happens. And
Uh-huh.
for those
Yeah.
moments that present an opportunity to do that, it's really helpful. I will say that I actually lost confidence as a person professionally and everything when I started this transition. Um, this because I told you I woke up that next morning and I realized, oh my God, what the F did I do? I can't take this back.
Right.
And I didn't want to, but I actually lost confidence because I started seeing myself as what, like, less
Oh,
than.
you like flipped it on yourself? Oh,
It
that's
had
so
never
sad.
been, I'd never done that in my entire life. And I did it for about a year and a half.
But you were brave to come out, like, and come out in the transition because you had to do it twice. Well, I mean, you said you didn't have a problem with being gay, but like it didn't give you as much, but you still had to come out twice.
So my friends actually said it was different at the time. They said, Allison, you can't just come out twice for attention twice. You just
Oh my God, I love it. I do love it.
Okay, so we did the thing, and like I was telling you yesterday, if people listen to the podcast episode, which David, I think David is watching right now on Instagram. Thank you, David. And Ashley, they were better than I was in that whole thing, and they asked you some really good questions, and out of those questions came that you weren't supported by the faculty. And so I told you yesterday when I was going to put this podcast together and I was editing things out, what I was most disappointed in, besides my own actions, were the adults in the room. Like kids at that age, high school kids should know not to be bullies. But at the same time, they're still kids and they're still teens, and they don't have like that's why they don't get to vote. That's why
Right.
they don't get
Right.
to do certain things. And so you think about that, but the adults did. They had degrees. They were there because they had shown that they should be there. But then when the opportunity arose to represent all students, they did not do that. In fact, they doubled down the other way. And so I was really heartbroken about that experience for you because, and then it made me question my entire existence there because I thought I cried leaving school. I thought it's never going to get any better than this. And I wasn't even out. Like, I just thought it was, oh, I should be the drum major. Like I question everything now because they did that to you. So who were these people? And I think that I'm going through that professionally too, like people that you put on a pedestal, and then when they do something to show you who they are, it's like, so
Yeah.
like I I I just, when I put that together, that is why I made it the Red Devil thing, because I feel
I
I'm
loved it.
I'm ashamed that they did that to you.
I loved it. Like I love the fact that you named it what you did, and I am ashamed of them. But like in school, like let's say the bullies right now, the bullies like that are in high school, middle school, whatever, wherever they are. Those bullies right now have been taught at some point, some way, how to act like that, and especially in Huntington, that's who was teaching school. Some of their parents were teaching us in school. Um,
Do you ever, so besides the one that was online the other day, do you ever run into like the guy that hit you outside of ag class?
I think he passed away. I I I don't know that he didn't maybe do something to himself. I don't know the whole story, but I think he did pass away.
Did he go to jail or something? Why would he?
No, I think he just was really, really bad on extracurriculars.
Oh, okay. It's a Huntington pastime.
Yeah, you know that stuff.
It is. Yeah, I want to do an episode on that. And so I've been talking to somebody who's gonna maybe do it, and I'll have to black out their face and everything because they're still in that world.
Oh, I
And
understand that.
and um yeah, so if you know somebody, because I think that that is an ailment on our community, like really bad.
Yeah, and it's always been. It is always been because apparently it's always been rampant from the 80s on.
Well,
According to
yeah,
my
but you
uncle,
look for ways to deflect because they're treated like you are in school, or
self-medicate.
yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Like I think that's something that would be a good thing for somebody to kind of wrap around and be like, you you don't need this to you don't need any kind of extracurriculars to make yourself feel better or self-medicate or whatever the case may be. You just need to, I don't know, meditate, figure out something that works that's not harmful to your internal body.
Yeah, but how are you gonna do that? I think that we discovered, like, an addict isn't once they try it, you would just need to keep it
Oh
out of
yeah.
their hand forever. Because
Yeah.
once you try it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I dated somebody that was recovering and then went backwards. And this has been years ago. This is back in my 20s, like late 20s or whatever. I dated somebody for a hot minute that he was recovering and couldn't, like, he was recovering addict and alcoholic, and he couldn't go back to it, but then at some point it's just called him back into it. Because that's back when I lived in Austin. I lived in Austin for a stint. And when I say a stint, like 8 months.
That's all you were there?
Yeah, I hated it. I hated that place.
I thought you said the other day you loved Austin.
Well, okay, so I did enjoy it when I was there, but
Yeah?
traffic,
I'm gonna stand up 'cause
traffic,
my leg is hurting.
it is the worst traffic you've ever been in your life. And I was sitting in traffic and my air conditioner went out and I was like, I'm done. I hate this place. So 35 is the worst road to drive in. Like I will take
Yeah, no, I can see it for the traffic, but I thought the
I
people,
enjoyed
like
it when I was there. I didn't enjoy it when I was there, but I dated this dude for a hot stint that was recovering and had been recovering. I don't know. He made it out of rehab for a little bit and everything. He was recovering. I met him at on Third Street. Is it Third Street? I think it's
4th
Third.
Street?
Is it Fourth Street?
I don't
Which
know.
one's
Is it 4th?
the gay district? Yeah, I think it's Third Street. Third Street's the one got all the gay bars down there. I met him
Okay.
down there, and he was completely sober, and then he started like really hanging out at the bars, and then he went right back to square one.
Yeah, I don't think he was sober in the beginning. I think that people are good at masking and covering.
Yeah,
I think I basically married to that before, and yeah.
I understand.
So I put this out. The only thing I regret about that is I should have sent it to the school and maybe try to put something like, "Hey, this is what they do now." I did not do that, and so I'm thinking they're probably already going to know about this. But I'm going to send an email to their communications department and say like, "Hey, do you want to like what are you doing? Can we make sure that this isn't happening? Would you like a chance to speak?" And we're not like a real like we have 5 people that probably look at us, and so like they probably won't answer, but I think that we should give them that chance.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
what do you-
Agreed. And honestly, I think at this point in the game, it needs to start younger than high school and middle school now, because like kids
yeah,
have changed. Kids have changed. Like they started accepting it earlier than we did. Like I made it all the way through the whole stint of my school before I ever even would even admit it to anybody.
I knew.
I knew too, but
I knew in 7th grade.
I mean, I was something was on TV. I was just kind of listening in the background because I was working, but they were talking about like this kid that hasn't even started puberty, is transitioning. So like it's changed. Like so it's got to go all the way back past middle school almost. Like the counselors need to be better
Right.
past middle school.
I don't know. I'm hoping that this generation, because they're just so chill, that they're handling this, and like this is not going to be a thing. But so back to what we put out, the comments that I was reading, I could not tell if they were talking about you, if they were talking about me, if they were talking about this whole experience, because I think that if you put me and you together and they see us side by side, they're going to attack me first. And that's just how my life is now. But I could not tell what the hell they were talking about. And I even put that in there. I said, for Huntington, this is some crazy shit. Like, what are y'all talking about?
They were making like weird jokes and stuff. And
was it jokes? Because there was one person that seemed to think it was serious, because they were like it seemed they were making fun of somebody that lived maybe in like I don't know.
There were some people, and then there was some people that were actually taken up for us. Like,
so that's what I couldn't tell. I mean, I could tell like 1.5 people, but like,
yeah, it was very mixed. It was a very mixed thing, and a lot of people started responding to each other, and then there was a lot of emojis that are the little things. I don't know what you call them. I think they're called GIFs or something like that. GIF. But a lot of people were posting those.
And yeah, I saw some of those that didn't make any sense. I don't know if they were talking about like AIDS or what the hell they were talking about.
I know.
They're talking about hepatitis C for a little bit.
I know.
I'm gonna pull it up. So, did you go and make any comments?
I did not. I refrained because I get a little excited and I tend to fire off. Well, as in the past.
Let me see if I can pull it up. And so what I did not see, and I saw this, I guess you'll have to show me the supporters, but I did not see like any hope that if this was the sample size, that anybody gave a fuck.
No.
That somebody might have this experience. And then I started thinking, well, maybe I didn't get this, maybe I didn't edit that right to get the story out there, because maybe it doesn't seem as bad because, I cut something out, or I didn't ask the right question. Because Joseph, my entire life I have felt for you because I saw that with my own eyes. That's why I apologized to you that one time.
Right. And I appreciate that.
And you felt it, because then when you verified it here recently when we started talking, how do they not know that? And
so
people don't care.
A lot of these people are adults. Most of them are adults on there. And regardless of the situation or whatever it is, how does your heart not bleed for a kid that's in pain?
They're seeing you as an adult saying this, and not that you were a kid living through that.
Yeah. Like they like there was one comment out there about we're raising a soft generation, and I'm like, I'm not part of the generation coming up. Like, I
wanted to say, like, some of those arguments, and that's why, like, one person just kept talking about they're going to take our rights away because they're so sensitive. And that is when I commented on it. I said, oh, I'm glad that we agree that the government should not be taking rights away from people. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, even in the straight world, like, everybody was in such an uproar about the government taking rights away from women for abortion rights and everything. It's the same thing. They just only can see their side of it.
It bothers me when the women that are upset can't see it for like trans people.
Mm-hmm. They can't understand, like, it may not be the same argument, but it's the same thing. And we should all, I guess, join forces. I don't know how to word it. I mean, if I can understand your pain for that, you should be able to understand my pain for mine.
People have to have empathy, and they have to be able to feel empathy and experience that. So it's not just sympathy, it's actual empathy. Like, you can put yourself in that. And until something happens to some people, they cannot fathom, like, they don't have that experience. And I just didn't know if maybe I didn't do a good enough job telling that story. And so I'm working on a piece about it. And what would you suggest? Because I have to do justice by you on this.
Let me get back to you on that one. Let me think about it. I don't think there would be anything right now I suggest. I think you did good. Maybe I should re-listen to it and then get back to you, because I do remember it, and I remember after the fact I was kind of a little bit emotional after we
I was
did
like happy emotional for.
Yeah, like it was different. So I will have to follow back up with you, and we'll do whatever we want to do. As long as it's out there, I'm cool.
Yeah, let me.
And I sent it to several of my friends. I was like, share this.
That's good. And did they?
Yeah. I think Sammy's gonna share it. Like, I don't know if I told you I got involved. My friend Sammy was Rob's client. And I didn't really know her that well until after Rob passed away, and we just made friends. Well, she's got me into this church now, which I'm now part of St. Cyprian's Episcopal Church, which is the most accepting church I've ever went to in my life. Actually, the preacher preached Rob's funeral for me, and I made friends with so many cool women there. It's so much fun.
So where is that?
It's you remember St. Cyprian's school in Lufkin? It's the church.
Yeah, over on the loop.
Yeah, it's Episcopalian, and they're the most accepting people. Like, they couldn't care less. They love it. They enjoy.
Well, you're all God's children.
Yeah, and that is the preacher that preached Rob's funeral, because I can't tell you how many preachers told me, like, a church that Rob went to that I didn't go to. Like, I did not go to it with him because I didn't want to be Baptist again. And I didn't want to go to a Baptist church. He was very active in it, and I was told absolutely not. That no, there were several people that said no, they wouldn't preach it, and there were several preachers in that church. Just so because
this is the cover art, and
I love it.
I almost, because I was kind of getting into some of the comments that I was leaving them yesterday. I actually used the shadow design to make something that would have trolled everybody yesterday, and it. I'll show it to you here in a minute, but I think I'm still going to post it just to troll, just because they're taking it. I couldn't tell if they were being serious or not, but this is a public thing, and so I don't feel bad showing these, but like it's just all over the place. I mean, I appreciate the attention, but like some people, was it jokes? But I mean, was it serious? Because it's fun to be made fun. Like, it's fun to make fun of your friends, but it's also like, what is that? Is that ham?
Yeah, like, I don't get it. I don't get that at all.
And I even put in here as like, I speak Huntington. I don't know what you're saying.
I did see that. And then this one with Trump, I think that was way inappropriate. Like, just because I'm a homosexual or a gay man.
Is that what they're doing? They're saying that
homosexuals
are pedophiles?
Yeah, like, I don't want a 13-year-old. I have no interest. That's what I took at it. It's like when the Coke comes in and the 13-year-old enters the room together. Like, that's not what I'm out here for. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying I could not tell what the hell they were talking about during all of this. Like, there's something about somebody with it was just you could tell that it's fun to make fun of gay people. That's the one thing I could tell. So whether I thought, well, maybe they were taking up for you, or maybe they were taking up for the experience or not, I could tell that both sides, it was okay to make fun of gay people.
Yep.
I'm just surprised. And I could have trolled. I could have been worse. I could have said, I'm surprised that y'all know how to use the internet for this, but I have family members that are educators there, and they're nothing like this. And so this is not Huntington to me. This is just idiots. And that's not to say everybody on here, because I haven't read every comment, but.
And I'm sure there's more since I read them.
Like this one, I couldn't tell if that was a support or not, because.
I took it as non-support.
Okay.
Because it was that mental disorders. Like, we're not all mentally ill.
Yeah, but where did he even get that? Like, what?
It's somewhere out there. Like, he had to Google it or something. And
so this one, was that support or not support?
I did not understand that one at all.
Well, that was one that was talking about like something about ball hockey. And so I'm guessing that was a gay reference.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I do remember that now that you said that. I remember reading that under that comment.
Yeah, but there's just so many comments here, and so I don't know, but I do have the editorial that I've written that'll come out with it, or come out like hopefully later tonight. And I've changed it like 400 times because I want to make sure that I have the right impact for you.
Well, I
But
appreciate it.
I also want to know, like, what would you like to add? So if I put out a second edit of like this part 2, which is
Right.
will come from this, like what part of the story would you like to elaborate more on? Because you want to make sure it doesn't happen to another little Joseph.
I think, I mean, kids are going to be kids, and we're never going to change them. And then it's not taking up for them. That's just saying like that. That's a deep battle. Adults know what they're doing. They straight up know what they're doing, and I think we need to elaborate on that more. I mean, to be called out by a teacher and told that, our principal, and be told that it was my fault, that because I wasn't butch enough, or whatever the case may be, it was my fault that I was going through this. I think that needs to be highlighted the most. And
Okay.
it was one of the hardest things, because they told me that while my mother was sitting right beside me, which could become embarrassing too. Like they're sitting there.
So yeah. Did you ever reconcile with your did you ever have a family member that was just a support for you?
My mother is really, she doesn't really support it. She hates it.
Yeah.
Um, the only support I really got from it, I mean, my aunt was kind of like, she just was neutral. She wasn't going to agree or disagree. Like she just kind of stayed out of it, and I appreciate her for that. My grandmother eventually come around, because it was her baby brother that was my biggest support system for being gay. Like, let me say that, because he is married, lives in Chicago, and he's married to a man, and he was the one. My mom got to where she didn't really care or anything, but
She wasn't objecting it anymore, but she wasn't
yeah,
supporting
like
it either.
he was my biggest support system, and the gay, and just being gay, like, if that makes sense, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
I do. I think that is where I realized my parents were for the longest time, that they were just not objecting anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so I actually have, left my parents. But
I understand. Believe me, I understand.
Okay, so but how do we do that with the educators? So I'm going to send this to Huntington. I don't even think, I don't know if they would care. I know that the educators that I knew there would care. And just say, hey, like, I mean, I'm sure that they have talking points. I read that they have I mean, they put up stuff about DEI on their website, but do they actually live it? And if they were to say, well, if the parents don't even, if the family doesn't even, how much different for you would it have been if your family would have stuck up to the school? Like if they would have said, oh my God, why are you doing this to my kid?
Tremendously. Like it would have made a big difference. And my mom was not one to put up with stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I remember her yanking y'all into the van sometimes and be watching like shit.
I don't remember what the conversation was when I left the room. I don't even know what it would have been. But
have you ever asked her?
No, because for the longest we just didn't talk about it. Like, we didn't talk about me being gay. Even in my adult life, we didn't talk about me being gay. We talked around it.
I would be so curious to know, like, you're right. You don't know what conversations happened around you.
Yeah.
And it had to stress her out.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I mean, it's, how would it not? Like, how would it not?
I'm about to post something on this and then I'll get off of that. But that makes me wonder about your brothers. And did you ever have conversations with the brother that was old, like right under you, or the younger one? Like, did these topics ever come up even in like years later?
They come up, but it was somewhat very negatively come up.
Well,
And
things tend to come up during incidents, right? And so it's never a good time when the hard conversations happen. But have y'all ever, has this ever been acknowledged by your brothers?
no,
It and this is not to take away from you, but like they were also trying to grow up, right? And
yes.
navigate these things. And so like what effect did you being and you know, there's the nickname Joseph, what effect did that have on them? Did they and did they turn around and resent you for it, or did they?
I think at some point, like they never admitted it, they did resent me. I do know at some point, like they might have joined in on some of the bullying behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
Oh my
Um,
God.
because it might have made their life just as difficult. And I think like this, it may have made their life just as difficult because they might have got picked on because of me.
That makes sense. But as they become adults, have y'all had any adult conversations on this?
No, no. The only relationship in my life that they have even acknowledged or anything was the last one I had with my husband. They never met any of the others. Never. We didn't do holiday functions. We didn't do anything. They never met any of them. We just avoided it, and that was it.
Okay.
So Robert was the one that changed the whole ball game for me, and I was in my 30s when he did it. That's a long time. It's a long time to have relationships with people. Like I was in a 7-year relationship prior to Robert, and that he didn't come to anything. He wasn't acknowledged. It wasn't allowed. Stuff like that.
Um, did they do you ever think about that? Do you want to reach out to them? Do you want to start that connection? Do they have kids? Do you know their kids? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I always was pretty big on family, and I do think about it, but sometimes it can create more trouble. It can
Just
do
talking about it?
it can do worse than better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, so the educators, I think that we're missing a big opportunity here that like the family. And so I would be ever curious if your mother would ever like, you know, sit down and just answer questions. And
I
that
can
that could open up a whole thing for you. And I don't know if that would be a good release or not. I think that they live these things with you. It cannot be easy for your mother to have seen all those things.
No,
And
I guarantee you it wasn't. I guarantee you it wasn't, and it'll make you tough as nails as a parent, I would think, because you would be constantly mad, scorned, or whatever it would be.
what about your
Um,
dad?
my dad has passed away.
I know, but what about during all of that? I mean, you don't talk much about your dad.
We didn't have a good relationship. We didn't really get along, stuff like that. Um,
He didn't understand you,
he
right?
didn't. But let's say it was mutual. Um, we just didn't like each other as people.
But Joseph, that's not your job to understand an adult. You were a kid. It's their job to understand you, though.
I understand, but looking back now, yeah, yeah. But me and my dad just didn't, even as an adult, even as anything, I just didn't have a relationship with him that was healthy. There was never a healthy relationship. And I don't even think that that has anything to do with me being gay. I just think we just, as people, did not care for each other.
I get that. Let me stop sharing this. Stop sharing. Why didn't you care for him? Can you say that?
I really don't know how to answer that. Um, I just didn't. I don't know. I really don't know. My mom told me from the time I was a baby I didn't like him.
Did she love him?
Yeah, yeah,
And they got along very well?
yeah. Up until we turned teenagers, and then that's when they got a divorce. I was probably in my 20s. My brothers were in their teens.
Do you
But
think that all the stress of managing that situation probably, I mean, it had to affect their marriage?
it could have. It could have. I think there was more factors though than just that. that I will never know the truth to.
I don't remember you until high school. Where were you before high school? Where were you?
So I was in Lufkin up until middle school. My
Was
first
Lufkin a better experience?
Nah. Well, yeah. I mean, because we're like I went through elementary in Lufkin, and then I come to Huntington in middle school back when it was when the public library was our library as well.
Over there at the
So that's when I started. Was it grade? You start is elementary or I mean middle school grade 6, 7, what?
6, 7, and 8 was middle school.
Yeah. So I started in 6th grade there.
I don't know if that's still the same thing. I don't remember you in middle school. But back then we were still very segregated. Like you were in your class, and I think that we had 4 classes a day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because we did that block schedule thing.
Yeah.
And if you weren't in band, then I didn't know you.
Well, yeah, and remember they like if you were in science in like quarter 1, quarter 2, you were in math. Like they did us weird.
That's why we're also dumb.
So we didn't. Yeah, like it was random in middle school. It was a weird program how they did it. But
do you ever have any teachers that you've stayed in contact with?
No, there's only one person I've stayed in contact with from Huntington.
Besides me now.
Well, like one person in like the education system, like adult, is Sue Holder, Miss Holder.
I loved Miss Holder.
I worked in that office with her.
She worked in the office.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I believe. Didn't you work in the office with her too?
I did because I loved being in charge of shit. And
I did
so,
too.
like,
I learned the computer system and got us all in trouble for it.
I just like going and saying, you retarded. Because I was the drum major of the band, and then I've just always been a boss. So, was she a good supporter?
She was a very good supporter. Like, we loved each other. We still talk. Like, she is one that is still on my Facebook to this day.
Reach out to her, see if she would talk to us about what that was like witnessing all of that. Because I wonder.
I think she would be.
People are scared to talk because they don't want to ruffle feathers, and I get it. So I would just be curious because if we don't tell the stories, then nothing's ever going to get better. And when I saw those comments yesterday, it's like, wow, it is a bully culture. Like it's just.
It is. It is.
But I see people like my cousin Holly, and you have Miss Holder that's not them. And she's a teacher.
I forgot Holly was your cousin.
Do you know Holly?
Yeah. Yeah. I worked with her at Bell's.
At Belk?
Bell's. Way back in the day.
Did you work with Teresa Preezer there too?
Yes.
And she was dating somebody named I forget. God, that was a long time ago.
It's been a long
She worked at Sears.
I didn't work at Sears.
She worked at Sears, but y'all worked in the at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought Holly worked at Belk. Maybe she went to Belk later.
She might have left Bell's and went to Belk.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, two totally different outfits. One's in the mall, one's over across town.
There was a while in my transness that I started dressing like, and I in my head I'd be like, "Oh, this is Belk," because I would wear like the old lady suits. This is great.
I love it.
What if you had to say you're irritated or inspired? Because yesterday you were irritated. What would you say? Is it irritated or inspired? And what has you there today?
Okay. So this is petty, and I've already mentioned it once, but I'm irritated with email. When did email become so crazy in work? Like I have 400 to go through.
Because everybody thinks that they have something to say and they want to say it. And
COVID changed
those people usually make podcasts.
I know. No,
I'm making fun of myself, but let me tell you, the email thing is a problem. I actually made a video and it was horribly produced, but where I was making fun of how many things are looking at me for my inbox. It's like it never stops. It's like 2,000 messages.
Yeah, it is. So that I'm irritated today. The next time we talk, I will be inspired by something and I will find it.
You can't just know that. So you're irritated about your emails and you got to go do that. Do you find that when you travel, like you were driving yesterday, that puts you behind because you can't check emails and respond?
Yeah, I was on site all day yesterday, so I didn't have access to it. So it's 8 hours lost. That's when there's 400.
I felt the whole time I was traveling the last 3 years, VP, like, I was always behind because of traveling, and
Mhm.
then I would be like, I never caught up, and I I feel you, like, you
There's no explaining it unless you live it. There's no explaining it.
mhm. Um, okay, well, I would say that today I am also irritated, so this will be 2 irritateds for both of us in a row, and my irritated today is I don't know if I've been stuck in this house for a couple of weeks too long, but the sounds that my dog makes are irritating the F out of me. And I love my dog, but he
We
makes them. And I'm like, just shut up. And then I flashbacks to my mom when we would make annoying sounds. She'd be like, y'all be quiet. We were like, we're sorry, we're breathing, mom. And it's like, I'm that person now. I'm yelling at my dog because my dog is breathing.
I oh my god, I can relate so much. Rob had a Shih
He's
Tzu.
like,
Like I'm trying to say that right.
yep.
And she licks herself, and that noise today, or well, just this month in general. I don't know
Oh,
why,
you
but
still have her.
yeah, I still have her. And she was a runt, so she is tiny, like tiny. But she licks, and I was like, "Stop it! Stop!" Like I cannot hear that sound anymore.
Yeah, and I feel bad. I'm yelling at my little pug, but I cannot hear him go, one more time. And like, okay,
Awesome.
well, hey, thank you. I'll send you that once I have it packaged, and then I'll package this up too. And
Nope.
I think that you are super brave, and just make sure that you're taking care of yourself out there because people are stupid.
Agreed. And same to you. You take care of yourself. And we'll work on the back end on making plans when I come up there. Alrighty.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.